what do you make of this sort of the idea that they cut a side deal with California and not violating federal law?
Right. Well, I think a lot of these automakers like Ford and Honda are siding with California here because they want short-term regulatory the clarity, right? But in the long term, siding with California's lawmakers is probably going to come back to bite them because these rules that California has put in place incentivize the production of cars that have no connection to market forces. So this will lead to sales slumps and, of course, job losses. And a lot of this probably comes down to virtue signaling as well. You know, these companies wanting to take public credit for green posturing. But I've read multiple reports that, leaders at these automakers have approached the administration privately behind closed doors and urged them to move forward with efforts to weaken Obama-era regulations on gas mileage standards,
right,
because that would be better for the industry in the long term.
Well, we remember the uproar, and I think all these guys said when President Obama was in office, listen, we're naturally going to gravitate to where you want to go. It's just how quickly you want us to get there. California
right.
standards are not as onerous as the Obama standards were, but they are substantially higher. And I think also people should study, how these fleets may have one vehicle in there that gets a gazillion miles a gallon, but no one buys it, but it brings down the overall level. I just find it fascinating that all of these industries that were so upset are now saying, okay, we acquiesce, we'll go along with this kind of stuff. It feels like the president's trying to help these big businesses, and many of them are saying, no, we just can't, to your point, give up the short-term gains of California sales. I do also want to ask about electric vehicles, right? EVs, I got to tell you, have been a major bust so far, the Leaf and these other ones, but every auto company around the world ramping up development big time, including all-electric Ford Mustang coming. Can you believe that? Now, I think they're betting on public opinion now. It's starting to shift, and they think maybe it's going to be a better driver than government subsidies. You think they're right?
I mean, consumers are not buying these electric cars, Charles, and I think it's great that the liberals want to make a push towards greener and cleaner cars. However, the standards that are in place in California and the Obama standards, they are unrealistic, and they end up hurting lower and middle income earners most, the same people who can't afford electric cars. They also create regulatory costs that have already been over $77 million that are passed down directly to consumers. Now, the Trump administration proposals would save consumers an average of $2,500 on every new car purchased. This would, of course, allow families to buy safer, newer, more efficient cars. And, California, meanwhile, is just trying to squash consumer choice at the hands of government bureaucrats.
Well, my wife just got the new Navigator, Kristin, and I could tell you, if it was a plug-in, she'd black out the whole block, okay? Because that bad boy needs some serious juice to power. Thank you very much. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, Charles.